અલ્ફા એક્યુરેટ એડવાઇઝર્સના એમડી રાજેશ કોઠારી આપણી સાથે ચર્ચામાં જોડાઈ ગયા છે. રાજેશજી, સ્વાગત છે. ઓલમોસ્ટ આપણે જોવા જઈએ તો આ 2021ના 6 મહિના વીતી ગયા છે અને 6 મહિનામાં પણ આપણે જોયું ઘણી વોલેટિલિટી આવી. સેકન્ડ વેવને આપણે ફેસ કરી, જ્યાં આપણે રિકવરી માટે એકદમ તૈયાર હતા, ગ્રોથ પાટા પર આવી ગયો હતો, ફરી પાછું ડિરેલ થતું દેખાયું. તમે આ 6 મહિનાને કઈ રીતે મળવો છો?
See, 6 મહિના, as you rightly mentioned, it was a very volatile. તો આપણે અગર જોશું કે જાન્યુઆરી ટુ માર્ચ ક્વાર્ટર Indian economy was like fully opened up, and very importantly, the demand growth rebounded very sharply. In fact, when we interacted with many of the corporates, જ્યારે માર્ચ મહિનાના રિઝલ્ટ પછી ઘણા કોર્પોરેટ સાથે જ્યારે આપણી વાત ચર્ચા ચાલુ હતી ત્યારે ઘણા કોર્પોરેટ્સ કીધું કે they were actually out of stocks. For few products they were out of stocks. And after that, of course, the pandemic wave 2 hit us and demand again got impacted. And at the same time, third very important thing which happened worldwide as well as in India is the risk of inflation. So what is very important now, જ્યારે આપણે 6 મહિનાને મુલવતા હોઈએ ત્યારે સૌથી ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ આપણે વિચારવું જોઈએ કે what is the underlying health of Indian economy? What is the underlying health of Indian consumer? What is the underlying health of that demand? Because if you can assess that rightly, then you can go right in predicting the corporate earnings growth, and then you can go right in predicting the stock market ma agar શું થશે. So that's how one needs to relook at it. We do not need to bother too much about open, close, open economy, because then it means there'll be volatility into all your curves, the demand curve, the mobility curve, and so on and so forth. The important focus should be what is happening to the underlying consumer demand, and that's where we are right now focusing on.
ઓકે, સાથે રાજેશજી, એક બીજું મહત્વનું પાસું અહીંયા એ સમજવા માંગીએ છું કે માર્કેટની અંદર જે એક ડિરેક્શનલ ટ્રેડ માટેના કે ડિરેક્શન મૂવ માટેના જે દિવસો હતા એ આપણને ક્યાંક ને ક્યાંક આખી આપણે જો આ જૂન સિરીઝમાં જોઈએ તો આપણને ઓવર થતા દેખાયા છે. માર્કેટ હવે અહીંયાથી થોડાક એક કન્સોલિડેશન, ટાઈમ વાઇઝ કરેક્શનના મોડમાં દેખાઈ રહ્યું છે. એને આપ કેવી રીતના જોવો છો? હવે થોડુંક અહીંયા બજાર આપણને થાક ખાતું દેખાશે?
I think આ પ્રેડિક્ટ કરવું ખૂબ જ મુશ્કેલ હોય છે. Timing very very difficult. Nobody can predict this. People have been talking about this from last 15-18 months કે બજાર થાક ખાશે ને. યસ, બજારનો નિયમ છે કે ઉપર જવું નીચે જવું, that is the nature of market, am I right? So corrections are always part of any healthy bull market. But as I'm saying, one should not focus too much on it. People have tried to do that in last 15 months also and they have failed miserably. So what is important is, as I'm saying, આપણું એક જ ધ્યાન હોવું જોઈએ કે અંડરલાઈંગ કન્ઝ્યુમર હેલ્થ કેવી છે, અંડરલાઈંગ ડિમાન્ડ હેલ્થ કેવી છે. અને જો એ અંડરલાઈંગ ડિમાન્ડ હેલ્થ જો સ્ટ્રોંગ છે તો ઇન્ડિયન ઇકોનોમી ઇઝ ગોઈંગ ટુ રિકવર શાર્પલી એન્ડ સ્ટ્રોંગલી whenever and whichever state opens up. As one by one state will do the Indian opening up. You never know, again the wave 3 may come, you don't know impact of it. So all those things will continue for some more time. But if I look at consumer demand, underlying trend of consumer demand, જે આપણને ફોર્થ ક્વાર્ટરમાં જે જોવા મળ્યું ને એ એક જ ખૂબ જ અગત્યની વસ્તુ જોવા મળી. અને તમે ફોર્થ ક્વાર્ટર FY21 ડુ નોટ કમ્પેર ઇટ વિથ ફોર્થ ક્વાર્ટર FY20, કારણ કે એનો બેઝ લો હતો એટલે બધા ઇન્ડિકેટર તમને સ્ટ્રોંગ દેખાય. પણ લુક એટ ફોર્થ ક્વાર્ટર FY19, which was a normal year, correct? FY19 was absolutely a normal year. અને તમે જોશો સાહેબ કે FY21 નો જે ચોથો ક્વાર્ટર અને FY19 નો જે ફોર્થ ક્વાર્ટર હતો, both are absolutely similar in many macroeconomic indicators. You look at petrol consumption, you look at diesel consumption, you look at power demand, you look at cement growth, you look at the automobile production, you look at two-wheeler sales, you look at four-wheeler sales, you look at railway freight container traffic growth, you look at the growth in the non oil imports, you look at the port traffic. Everything is actually at par or better compared to a normal year. Now think of it like, for example, think of it like a one human being which got impacted because of the pandemic, and the patient was like in probably hospitalized, and just in 2, 3, 4 months he recovered so much that he participated in marathon, correct? So after such a significant impact of lockdown, first quarter and partially in second quarter, in fourth quarter the Indian economy was back to fourth quarter of FY19. And that is definitely a huge surprise, positive news for all of us. And it means that there is a powerful restart of Indian economy. Yes, the restart got punctured in first quarter, but is it a demand puncture, or is it because of the wave two? Everybody just stopped and it was a forced cancellation. Is it a postponement or is it a cancellation? To our minds, looking at fourth quarter FY21, which was a powerful restart, it is a more of a postponement and less of cancellation. And that's where we are right now focusing on. And that's what we need to work it out that over next 2, 3, 4, 6 quarters, how the corporate earnings will pan out. એ કોર્પોરેટ અર્નિંગ્સ જો સ્ટ્રોંગ હશે, કારણ કે અંડરલાઇંગ ડિમાન્ડ જો સ્ટ્રોંગ હશે, તો પછી માર્કેટમાં નાના મોટા કરેક્શન જે આવી રહ્યા છે, which is going to be always part of any bull market, that's okay. It is a strong buy declines market.
ડેફિનેટલી. તો હવે ક્વાર્ટર વન પણ હવે તમે જુઓ તો ઓન ધ વે છે, ક્વાર્ટર વનના રિઝલ્ટ્સ આવવાની તૈયારી છે, તો કયા સેક્ટર્સ તમે ધારો છો કે અત્યારે સ્માર્ટ રિકવરી આ ક્વાર્ટર વનમાં પણ દેખાડી શકે?
I think first quarter FY21 will not be a good quarter because it is a pandemic impacted quarter. Of course, બે ત્રણ સેક્ટર હશે કે જેના growth is not much impacted, જેને બહુ વધારે problem નથી. For example, metal sector, જ્યાં metal prices moved up, so their earnings growth is going to be very strong. Software માં એટલી negative impact નહીં આવે, so that is going to be reasonably okay. Consumer, like a little bit, not major impact, there might be moderate impact. But otherwise, most of the sectors will be impacted in first quarter on a sequential basis. તમે લાસ્ટ યર ફર્સ્ટ ક્વાર્ટર સાથે કમ્પેર કરશો તો બધાના રિઝલ્ટ સારા આવશે, but that is not the right way to look at it. You need to look at it in a normal economy year. So first quarter, if you compare like a normal economy, we are not in a right now normal economy. April, May, June has impacted. Therefore, I do not think it is probably worth spending much of time on first Q FY22 result. One need to look at normal quarters, how the things are going to pan out. I think July month is going to be critical month. July, everybody is watching how are the demand trends in month of July and August. Is it like last year, pent-up demand will bounce back strongly, or is it like a moderate demand? And I think that is the key thing to watch out for every investor.
સાથે જ રાજેશજી એક બીજું પાસું સમજવા માંગીશું ગ્લોબલ માર્કેટનું. જે પ્રમાણે ગ્લોબલ માર્કેટ્સના આપણને રિએક્શન્સ આવતા દેખાઈ રહ્યા છે ઇન ટર્મ્સ ઓફ મોનિટરી ઇઝિંગના ફ્રન્ટ ઉપરથી જોઈએ કે આપણને ક્રૂડ પ્રાઇસીસના ફ્રન્ટ ઉપરથી જે સિનારીઓ બન્યો છે, જેના તરફથી જે પ્રમાણે મેટલ પ્રાઇસીસને કંટ્રોલ કરવા માટેનો પ્રયાસ કર્યો છે, આ બધા પેરામીટર્સને આપ કેવી રીતે જુઓ છો? આપણા માર્કેટ્સ આના ઉપર કેવી રીતે રિએક્ટ કરતા દેખાશે?
Yes, I think it is very important question what you asked me. Inflation, as I mentioned, कि 2021 calendar year जो आपने જોઈએ, तो one of the major worry for global markets is inflation. Now, inflation is because of three factors. એક factor છે underlying demand, બીજું factor હોય છે underlying supply, અને ત્રીજું બહુ important, generally demand and supply, that drives inflation, correct? But this time there is a third important element which has contributed the spike in inflation. And that is the logistic issues, the supply chain issues. And these issues are not the normal issues. These are absolutely abnormal, unheard of kind of a issues whereby everything was just like got stuck. The congestion at China port has been huge. The availability of raw material was not there because of the labor shortage in many countries because of pandemic. And please remember, it is an open, close, open economy. Let me explain you in 1 second what I mean by that. Say, for example, a company is based in USA and that economy has opened up and that country is sourcing something from India and that Indian economy or Indian market is closed market because of pandemic. Let's assume that India opens up, but by the time India opens up, some other country in Europe that goes into the pandemic and that country slows down or locked down because of the pandemic. So world is one when it comes to supply chain. It is a very, very complex supply chain. And in an open, close, open economy and across the world market is happening, it is bound to have its own very significant repercussions. And it is because of that, the most strong big companies, they have decided that they do not want to get impacted in a big way. And therefore, everybody is scrambling for the input availability. Forget the pricing. Availability is an issue. So they are sourcing it probably well in advance to meet any kind of a demand. And it is because of that mad rush on one hand to ensure you have enough stock of your inventory. And at the same time, because of this global open, close, open economy, the logistics got impacted. And because of that, there is an unheard huge waiting time for the factories. There is એક ઇન્ડિકેટર આવે છે ISM US માં પબ્લિશ થાય છે આ ઇન્ડિકેટર કે નંબર ઓફ ડેઝ કેટલા તમારે વેઇટ કરવા પડે એક ફેક્ટરીને કેટલા દિવસ વેઇટ કરવા પડે છે રો મટીરિયલ માટે. Right now it is highest 79 days since 1987. 79 days is the highest number since 1987. So part of inflation is because of that. And it is all these things combined is impacting the world market, because moment inflation goes high, people start worried about the interest rates. And if the interest rate goes up, people gets worried about the Fed quantitative easing monetary policy. Will it reverse or will it not reverse? By when it will reverse? And all the speculation starts. If you ask me, our personal opinion is that these are the transitory issues to some extent. The supply chain will become normalized. The congestion is already reducing. Globally, lumber prices, for example, which went up significantly, they are already down 30-35% in last 1 week or so. And many such commodities which went up 300-400% are reporting now significant decline as well. Some issues are transitory, some issues are permanent. So I think it is a mix of that too, which is going to drive the global market. And of course, it would have its own impact on the Indian market. Having said that, as Fed is rightly mentioned, right now it is not too much cause of worry. We need to be watchful of this indicator, and maybe another 1.5-2 years, we will continue to remain in a very strong monetary policy support by global bankers. Please remember, the world GDP growth is not yet back to normal. The employment data in USA is not yet back to normal, and therefore it is going to take a long time before any such reversal will start by US Fed when it comes to quantitative easing.
ત્યારે જ રાજેશજી તમે જુઓ તો ઇન્ફ્લેશનની સાથે સાથે જે આરબીઆઈ કિનલી વોચ કરે છે એ છે ક્રૂડ ના પ્રાઇઝીસ. તમે જો ક્રૂડ અત્યારે હવે જેટલું ઝડપે વધી ગયો છે કારણ કે આપણને ઘણા બધા કંપનીઝ પર પણ એની અસર થાય છે, તમે એને કઈ રીતે મૂલવો છો?
I think the crude price also will move up because of all these factors. US stimulus, they are talking about $5.5 trillion total stimulus to boost their demand growth. So I think what is important to monitor is the underlying demand. If the inflation is going up because of the improvement in the demand, then it is a good news for all of us. Moderate inflation is always a good thing for any economy. And I think that is very, very critical. In fact, global bankers are dying for this inflation number from last 10 years, since 2009. So some inflation is a good for economy, some inflation is good for equity market. If the inflation goes beyond a particular point, then I think we need to be worried. Otherwise, as of now, I don't think we should worry too much about it. Look at Indian equity market. You have a three phases of last 15-20 years. If you study Indian equity market, whenever there is a 4-5% kind of a normal inflation number, it is a good for equity market because that results into the better corporate revenue growth and also better corporate earnings growth. So to an extent, inflation is not that harmful. Of course, if oil goes beyond 95 or 100 or something like that, then of course we all need to get worried, and in that case then again the slowdown will start. But I think we are far away from that point.
સર, એક બીજું પાસું આપણે જ્યારે ઇન્ફ્લેશનની મેક્રોસની વાત કરી રહ્યા છીએ ત્યારે બેન્કિંગ અને ફાઇનાન્શિયલ સેક્ટર માટેનું એક સમજવા માગીશું. આપણે જોઈએ તો જે FY22ના ફર્સ્ટ ક્વાર્ટરની અંદર આપણે જોઈશું કે એટલા બિઝનેસીસ આપણને આવતા નથી દેખાયા, પણ સૌથી મોટું પર્સપેક્ટિવ અહીંયા એ રહ્યું છે કે આ બધી બેંક્સે જે રાઇટ ઓફ કરેલા NPS હતા એ હવે એમને રકમ પરત મળતી દેખાઈ રહી છે, જે કદાચ સીધા એમના પ્રોફિટની અંદર આપણને રિફ્લેક્ટ થતી દેખાશે. તો આ પર્સપેક્ટિવને આપ કેવી રીતના જોઈ રહ્યા છો? પબ્લિક સેક્ટર, પ્રાઇવેટ સેક્ટર બેંક્સ કે પછી NBFCs, કેવી રીતે આ આખા વર્ટિકલને આપણે જોવું જોઈએ?
I think banking and finance is like proxy for Indian economy. Indian economy got impacted last year very badly, and that also resulted into little bit, I would say, impact on Indian banking sector as well, because the credit growth was not so healthy. Not only the credit growth got impacted, but also the asset quality also got impacted. thanks to RBI and finance ministry, they have got some support from the SME side and everything, and therefore it contained some impact. But I think in banking and finance, one need to be very, very careful. And I think there one need to have the winner takes it all approach. That's the approach what we are following. Strong will become stronger, big will become bigger. That's the thesis we believe will continue to remain, even for banking and finance segment. And focus on asset quality is something very, very important. As far as one-time benefit goes, I think these all are one-time things, and we should not pay too much attention to one-time benefits to any of such banks. Important is the sustainability of earnings growth, sustainability of right asset quality, and sustainability of driving the efficiencies, the cost to income ratio. So these are 2-3 important parameters what one needs to monitor when one is selecting the banking stock. Our view in banking and finance is to play this game very, very selective. We are very, very selective. We are adopting winner takes it all approach. We remain invested in the top banks of the countries. Most of them are private sector bank, and one of them is, of course, India's largest PSU bank that also we continue to own. That's the approach what we are following. I think investors should be extremely careful about buying the banks or franchises, NBFCs, which are very small in size, or they might be fragile, and the asset quality growth has not been strong in last 4, 5, 7, 10 years. And those are the banks where one needs to really get worried, because they will further get probably impacted because of pandemic wave 2, because the underlying customer health the borrower health is impacted significantly, and that may result into the poor asset quality going forward for many of such small size banks.
ત્યારે જ તમે બેન્કિંગ અને પીએસયુ બેંક્સની વાત કરી, પણ એને બાદ કરતાં બીજા કયા સેક્ટર્સ પર તમારું વેટેજ અત્યારે વધારે છે? શું એમાં મિડ કેપ કંપનીઝનો પણ સમાવેશ છે?
Yes. So, our flagship PMS plan, AAA India Opportunity PMS plan, is a multi-cap PMS plan, correct? So we own roughly about 50-52% large cap and about 45-50% in mid cap and small cap. But very importantly, Nisha, as you are aware, while we invest into mid cap, small cap as well, but all these companies are large companies in terms of their market share and in terms of their revenue size and in terms of their profit size. And that's important. So a company might be small cap, but that doesn't necessarily mean that company is a small company. Let's say, for example, company like, for example, Timken, which we are holding from last 5 years. Please put a disclaimer. It is a large company, but because of the market cap definition by the regulator, it gets classified in the small cap. But company is not small, company is pretty large, am I right? So we own a mix of, it's a multi-cap product. We own best of the franchisee with the best of the management. And importantly, it's very, very resilient business models. And that's the key. If you ask me, one important thesis in last 12, 18 months, because we have seen now 2 rounds of pandemic, is the resilience. The resilience is the key. Inflation went up so high. Only those who could get the raw material, they could, serve to their customers. And who are these companies? The companies which have the resilient business models. So at times demand got impacted, like last year first quarter. At times your supply got impacted, like for.
ઓકે, તો આ અત્યારે આપણને કેટલાક પર્સપેક્ટિવ આપણને રાજેશજી તરફથી આવતા દેખાઈ રહ્યા છે. થોડાક ટેકનિકલ ખામી લઈને આપણે એમની પૂરી વાત નથી સાંભળી શકીએ, પણ સમય મર્યાદા છે એટલા માટે થઈને રાજેશજી ઘણો આભાર આપનો સમય ફાળી અમારી સાથે આ સમગ્ર ચર્ચામાં જોડાયા અને આ સમગ્ર વિગતો આપી એના માટે. તો એ સાથે જ હાલ મને નિશાને પણ આપજો રજા. આગળ અપડેટ માટે આપ જોડાયેલા રહો CNBC બજાર સાથે. નમસ્કાર.